guys, what's up? This is Jeremy. I'm going to do a product review for you today. Disclaimer, I've never done a product review before. So, if this sucks, I'm sorry. I'm going to do my absolute best. And I'm also going to try to give you something a little bit different today. So today, I'm going to be reviewing Roli's blocks, specifically the Songmaker Kit. I watched the videos like a lot of you. I was really excited about it, watching people demo it and play it, and I ponied up to $600. I've had it for about 72 hours. And instead of just doing an unboxing and kind of showing you what it can do like everybody else has done, I kind of want to tell you what I've experienced. If you want to see people demoing, there are plenty of videos out there that you can watch. So hopefully I can kind of help you out, and this will be a little bit different from a lot of the other information that you've already seen. Let me also say that I absolutely love the Roli company. I love the Seaboard. I think it's one of the greatest musical inventions ever. I think MPE and 5D are the future of music production. I really do. Just the amount of expression that you can get from the Seaboard is incredible. So I have to say, after 72 hours, I am a little disappointed. There's pros, but man, there's a lot of cons. I was so excited about this, and actually over the past 3 days, I have really been trying to convince myself, this is still good. You can keep it, you can enjoy it, you can use it. Really, after 72 hours, I have come to the conclusion that the cons do greatly outweigh the pros. That being said, I am going to be returning it, and this is kind of why. Now, first, let me tell you the pros. Number one, just look at this. Like, how cool is this? You've probably seen the Seaboard before. I mean, it's amazing. And then the light block down here and the loop block on top. Everything feels good. It's heavy. It's Roli quality. The other pro is it's so portable, wireless. You can do everything over Bluetooth. Battery life is more than good for what I've been doing. It's modular, you know, you can connect things, disconnect them, add things, put a light block here, put another one here. You can get a Seaboard. This is about $300. It really is just a compact, portable, wireless version of the Seaboard. Definitely a pro is that if you want to get into MPE and 5D, then this is a really cool way and relatively inexpensive way to get into it. You can play the equator and all the different software that comes with this, which is probably the biggest pro is the software that you get with the Songmaker Kit. Okay, the cons. Man, what I was really excited about with the Roli block system was the noise app. And probably my biggest mistake, I really wish that I would have downloaded that before I purchased the Songmaker Kit and just tried it out. And you can basically do everything as far as production-wise that you can without the block system. You could do it on the screen on your iPad or iPhone, whatever. Probably the word to explain it is just limitations. One thing being quantizing. There's no swing on the quantize. So if you want to do like the classic hip hop, boom, ka, boo, boo. When you quantize it and play it back, it goes boo, ka, boo, boo. Man, just put a swing button in there that we can use. So one thing you can do is turn quantize off and just play it good, you know, an old-fashioned way, get a good take. And I did do that a few times, but then that kind of led to the other issue. This block is really cool. The fact that you can change its different functions. You can play it as an XYZ pad. You can play it as a drum pad and all the squares pop up. You can play synths on it. It'll show you the major scale and, you know, just chromatic scale like the blocks on the drum pad. You can even play little games on it. You can press a couple buttons and it becomes the faders in the app. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this as far as a MIDI controller and even a control surface. Probably the biggest issue, there's a lot of people online talking about this too, that the drums, the velocity is so tricky and you know, the pressure, the sensitivity of it, you just never really know what drum sound you're gonna get. You could try your best to hit it in the right spot with the right amount of pressure. It just seems so sporadic most of the time. So I rarely got good, clean drum takes like I wanted them. And the biggest part about it was, if you play the drums on the app, on the screen, so much better. you get kind of one solid velocity on the screen, but it sounds so much better, and you could anticipate what it was going to sound like. You just could not do that with this. And then we noticed that I would hit one drum over and over and get the same sound, and then as it would play back in the Noise app, it would be at different velocities that I didn't hear when I was playing it when I was recording. Absolutely frustrating. And this got to the point where I would probably not use this for drums. So then you can click this little side button and you can move from your drum track to a synth track. And there's a couple different ways you can display. You can display all your different scales, so each block is a note in the scale. One cool thing about this is if you're playing synths on it in that mode, you can slide and do filters and all of the different things, the pressure. I mean, it has all of the sensibility that the Seaboard has. But when you start playing with it, you really start to realize its limitations. It was very obvious to me that it was much easier to just play the synth bass on the Seaboard. It felt better. It was more predictable. You kind of see some of the limitations. If you're here, you can't slide that way. If you're here, you can't slide that way, obviously. Not really something you think about when you're watching it, and then when you get it, you're like, oh, well, duh. I basically found that I would rather play the drums on the screen on the iPad as opposed to using this. And then I found I would rather play synths with the Seaboard, which leaves basically the XYZ pad, which is cool. That's it. And then you can press a button and it becomes the 4 faders for your 4 tracks in the app, which is another issue with the app. You can only do 1 drum and 3 melodic tracks, and that's it. Your drums, you can click a drum kit. You can't customize each individual drum within that kit. Back to the faders on this, again, I just found that instead of pressing buttons to get to the fader, I'd rather just reach over and do it on the iPad because it was right there. So even the control surface, I would rather use the iPad. The drums, I'd rather use the iPad. And the synths, I'd rather just use the Seaboard. So this $200 piece of hardware right here really had no value for me. Then you have this guy, the loop block that connects on with those DNA ports, which is really, really cool. So this has like kind of some transport buttons, click on and off, the quantizing. Basically what I found is that I would just rather do it on the iPad. Going through the modes and doing all this, I mean, it's all right there on the iPad screen. Really didn't see the value in this as well, and I believe this is $80. So we're at $300 worth of hardware here that I'm looking at and saying I would rather just do all of these things either on the iPad or the Seaboard. Again, the Songmaker Kit is the Seaboard, the LightPad, and the loop block. These two, to me, about $300 worth, about half the value of that. I would just rather use the screen, which is really sad because the whole point of this was to get you off the screen and back to the feel. It just doesn't function well enough. It's more frustrating than it is fun. I just can't recommend this, even for beginners. See, that's the thing. They marketed it where this could be a beginner thing to get you into it, but also more professionals could use it. Man, I don't know if I would recommend this even to a beginner because it's so frustrating. I can't imagine telling a beginner to spend $300, make an investment on this, when you could just do it in the app for free, and it performs much, much better. Another thing with the app that really, really stunk and was just confusing is that as you were connecting your devices, all three, the loop block, the LightPad block, and the Seaboard block would pop up in the list. It would all say not connected. You would click one, and then it would connect, and then the other ones would say not connected. So you go to click on them, nothing really happens. And then they would say offline. For the first time when I started putting it up, I'm like, they're offline, but then everything was working. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, oh man, it's probably like screwed up. So I was like, well, let me reboot everything. Let me just, I want it to be right, you know, the first time I'm using it. And then basically I found out that when they're offline, that means that they're working. That is confusing, man. Like, another gripe that I have is that the overall lack of information and material that came with it. I figured everything out. Most people could figure everything out, but there's not much clarity in the process. Now, the cons of the Seaboard block I don't think I have any. This is really, really cool. But again, the whole purpose to me and the loop block and the pad, it's like meant for the app. But the app was just it's so bad. It's so bad that it kind of killed the experience for me. Now that being said, I did use this in traction waveform. I did pull up the equator and played a lot. That's mainly what I did, was played the equator plugin with the Seaboard block. That's most of my time was spent doing that, because equator is just that good, and the Seaboard technology is just that good. This is a really cool piece of equipment on its own. Even though I'm returning the Songmaker Kit, I'm tempted just to buy this Seaboard block. But again, the app just really kills it. The app with the instruments and the MPE and the 5D, those two were supposed to be like best friends, and the app is just bad. Much rather use GarageBand. The only pro about noise is that you get those 5D instruments. So this is really cool. It's really cool to take on the go. You can use it in other DAWs as well as a MIDI controller, which I did with Reason. I use Reason a lot. So I may end up getting one of these. Now this is the thing, I really want more than the 2 octaves. Now I could get another Seaboard block, snap them together, and then I would have one that's twice as big. The only issue is that I'm then at $600, because another issue that really I was so bummed about is when you do connect those, you can't slide all the way. Once you get from a Seaboard block to the other, obviously the slide ends, and you can't do it across both of them. Being able to do that is so sweet. Besides the app, and besides just the general hardware issues, I also found some frustration even when I was using Equator. You can connect this via Bluetooth, and I had it connected to my MacBook. I found that there was a lot of latency over Bluetooth with this, and I messed with the buffer size. I did everything that I knew to do. I even reached out to Roli about it, and I could not get the latency gone. Now, I think a lot of it was not so much just playing chords or playing little melodies, but when I tried to branch out, okay, if you can hear this, that note is still ringing, and this was the biggest issue that I had when I was over Bluetooth, is that constant stuck notes. The stuck notes, that was going to be one of my later points, is that it just happens so often. Very, very frustrating. As much fun as I was having with bending the notes and pressure and the glide and the slide, I was equally as frustrated when I plugged in the USB-C cord into my computer. Latency, gone. No stuck notes. It felt good. Everything was better. It was a completely different experience. So, like I said, if I did decide to get this, hands down, no-brainer, would be wired the entire time, which kind of stinks because it looks so cool sitting there with no wires. Now, the latency wasn't as even bad on the app. If I was just playing one instrument in the noise app, it seemed that performed really well. So the light pad block, to me, it serves no purpose for me because everything functions so much better not using it. The loop block, again, $80. I'd rather just do everything on the screen. I don't see the value in that. The app, just so many limitations. Apart from the app, when using this with my computer, the stuck notes, the latency on Bluetooth were terribly, terribly annoying. I came to the conclusion I would have to have it USB wired into my computer if I was going to use it. So basically, this is what it comes down to for me. The block system is a really, really cool idea. The word that sums it up for me is just disappointed. I really, really wanted this to work, and I had it already back in the box to return, and I took it out. I've done that 3 times. I've boxed it up, brought it back out, said, let me try it one more time, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, forget it, and I just put it back. I did reach out to Roli about the issues that I have, because I do care, and I want them to fix them. And if I feel like the system does progress and get better, I will try it again. But I reached out to them, and they got back to me, addressed all the issues line by line, asked me for things, and I'm going to do my best to provide them with information, because I'm not just going to complain about it and do a review like this and not try to help, because I really, really do want to see this system succeed. I really do. And I would still encourage you, maybe give it a shot. Maybe you won't have all the issues that I have. I don't know. It could be all sorts of things. This was my experience. Hopefully this helped you. I tried to be really fair, but for $600 for this kit, I just I don't see the value in that for me. I really, really want them to figure this out though. And I really, really want it to work. And it seems like it may be working for some people. And I would just say, Roli, if you watch this, just keep going, man. I'm behind you. Even though this didn't work out, I really do think you're on to something. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know how terrible I did or how good I did, what I could do differently. Give me some tips, give me some pointers. A lot of people say like and subscribe. They do that thing. So yeah, do that if you want to. You know, if you have any questions, guys, shoot me an email, jeremycarruthers@gmail.com. I'll be glad to talk to you. I hope you enjoyed this, and just be looking out for some more. And help me out. Let me know what I can do better. Peace.